Hey everybody, welcome to Panilla JJ. I'm Jade and this is Joe.
Hey, and I'm ready to 3v3.
That's right. We are here for some PvP action in Commander Wars. We were discussing what videos to do, and something interesting has been happening on my account. Until about 3 weeks ago, I was unchallenged on my server in Commander Wars. I was just more powerful than everyone. Like no one, it didn't matter what I had for defense. Like no one was strong enough to kill me because in Commander Wars, you get your gear, your levels, everything your characters normally have. So it's very much power based. Just in general, the biggest numbers win, but once the numbers get close, that's not always the case. And so the other person on my server is Esper, who has been challenging me. And it's actually been fun because for the first time in a long time, I have a reason to look at Commander Wars instead of just going in there to click my rewards and click out. Um, and so basically, this started happening a couple weeks ago. You can see the record in battle history goes back a long ways. Like it goes, like I can look at 16 days ago, which is over 2 weeks, which is really helpful. And I don't know how many people look at that, but it's good because one of the things we're still hoping they give us, as Joe knows, is some sort of damage test dummy, some sort of training ground where we could actually test and get some more information on the formulas that go into the game. But here we are. But you can get a lot of information on Commander Wars. If you go in, you can click on the little graph, which most of you probably know, but some might not. And you can see, not only can you see that where you won and lost, you can actually look at the individual battles and replay them, which not everyone knows about. Like, I didn't know about that for a long time. I knew that I could go in and look. It just never occurred to me that I could replay the battle and see what happened if I wanted to change anything. And so this is basically my sort of like team comps when it started. I have my sort of my main council defense team, uh, which is, as you can see, Cat Meph, Ingrid, Corellia, and Kolo. Definitely my strongest defense team because Corellia and Kolo are my two biggest, baddest heroes that I have. They have most of the resources that I've put into DPS. My teams. Then we have my alliance team, which I have Kaguya on, and then I have sort of a melee hybrid team, which is Hagami Saud, which who up in I've always been more impressed with in PvP and boss fighting than I think a lot of people are, because she just never dies. Like she's very good at living, and she actually does decent damage, especially with the green rune. So Hagami Saud, and then I have Skogul and Anna for damage, and I had Aurora as a support with them, mostly because she helps give time for both Anna and Saud or Anna and Skogul to kind of ramp up and do work. Um, but as you can see, I'm losing. Now I can attack Esper back and win easily. Like I don't even change anything. I just hit skip and I win in 2 fights. But because when you're attacking, you have an advantage in PvP because you get to pick the favorable matchups and the positioning and all these things. So what I wanted to do is kind of go through what I've tried, as I was saying, and go through what I've tried, different team comps, and then have Joe jump in at the end and help me with Joe's deep PvP lore and wisdom. So, as you can see, these were my general ones. And then it was a few days later, I think I started trying different things. Let's see, there's 15. Okay, maybe I went too far back initially, but anyways, let's see. Yes, okay, so you could see it was a few days after that I started iterating. Looks like this was my first one. So the first iteration I did was I this fight felt winnable, and so I changed it to where I had Haitang in instead of Aurora, which in general most people would think that Haitang is more powerful than Aurora. She's limited, does a lot of different things. Um, I'm not sure who you would say is more powerful in PvP, but they're both very good or considered very good. And what this looks like it did is it gave the buffs that Haitang gave, let my Anna do a lot more in the fight. But it wasn't enough. Like I did kill Molly and Kaguya, but I still lost. And by far the most damage was Ingrid. Like this person's Esper's Ingrid is very strong. So when we went the next few days, let's see, change anything now. Okay. See, I left it like this for a couple days before I came back to it. Okay. So then I said, well, Haiting made some difference. Obviously, it wasn't enough. And so I went and I put in Yorimasa. because I was like, well, maybe, clearly they're jumping on my back line with Ron. Is that maybe if I just make a back line of a bunch of like really strong melee heroes with dodge and immortality type things where Ron can't do much, and it didn't really do any much better. I did kill their Anna, which was good, but that didn't matter because their Ingrid and Ron are still alive. And this is going to be difficult because their Ron is potential 40 and very strong. But, so, that was my next thought. Let's see, what else did I do? And then I said, okay, well, this team is doing better. So maybe I've kind of like, I've kind of locked them into what they're doing here. Maybe if I adjust my middle team against their Colo, that will make it harder for them too. And so I did. I put in Aurora instead of Kaguya because I said, Kaguya is not bad, but maybe Aurora can like, disappear their Colo, but forgetting that Colo will dodge it at the time. After that, I was like, wait a minute, I think Colo just dodges it, and we can actually watch and see what happens in this fight because I didn't ever watch it. Slow it down a little here. But
Yeah, Aurora is unfortunately not good against Colo because the lockdown just never goes off.
Yeah, because she just dodges it. It does delete her early damage a little bit because she loses her clone, right? But it's not, as you can see, it's not enough.
I believe it actually targets the clone or something because the clone always has more stats than Colo does.
Oh yeah, that could be. Yeah, let's see if we can catch it here really quick.
Because it never even
I just want to see if I can see that animation.
Because if I remember right, I don't think Colo even like blinks out of it.
Yeah, so something is happening because like she's
Yeah.
not even casting it at this point.
She's not. Yeah, maybe that was it, but it could have also just
no,
been
there it is.
your clone timing out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure.
I mean, it's tough because
way,
all of Aurora's animations are just slightly raising her staff. So
yeah, it's hard to tell.
Can't really tell.
Like this one, it's easier because with this skin, it's a big pumpkin, so you see it when it happens.
That's true. Yeah.
But anyways, it's not working, right?
It's not.
So where's it? Oh, so I said, okay, so that didn't work. And then what else did I put in here? Gonna go back to more recent. Oh yeah, so I changed it up again down here and said, okay, let's try. I took out Soud because I said, okay, well, Soud's good. Soud survives, but she's not really doing anything. I think because of Molly, I think it was. And so I said, okay, let's try this setup where I said, okay, I'll put Kaguya in to get my, to help my back line. And I kept Yorimasa because Yorimasa seemed to be doing well. And, as you can see, so they obviously they put Ron to jump on my Kaguya. My Kaguya does save herself and delay, but at this point it's already not enough. Like, oh, and I put Delilah in. That's what I did. I forgot to mention that. I took out Hagomi. I put in Kaguya to make them survive and Delilah for lifesteal on my 3 DPS. And as you can see, it did keep them alive, but it wasn't enough. Again, this team is very well put together because it has two very big threats between Ron and Skogul, and then Ingrid, because if I focus on stopping the dive, the Ingrid's going off. But as you can see, I did kill 2 again. Like, this fight is decently close. It's not like I'm just getting run over. So, and we go So a few days ago, at this point, I was kind of like, I'm just gonna throw stuff at the wall. Like, I was actually getting into this, and like, I want to see what happens when I do really weird things. Like, oh, I'll put in Hagomi with my alliance team. Like, why not? Like, Magi actually does decent damage the longer she lives.
Whoa, 7 points. That's a ton of damage.
Yeah, Magi does a lot of damage if she lives. Her ult does decent damage. So I tried it. It didn't work. That's fine. It's just tough. Like, Colo is so strong, and like, this team is not, I just don't have like characters to put in other than Oliver to really counter her. So, but at this point, I was kind of into the experimental, like, this is cool. Like, Esper's attacking me constantly. I get to basically try a bunch of PvP combos that I'd never had any way to test any of this stuff before. So like, now I'm actually like enjoying like, because I feel like when I was like leveling up and getting into the game, like when I started on my server, there was someone who was like, they already had their main team was already over 4 million power. Like, they were way ahead of everybody. So like, I never really did a lot to get better in PvP because It was like, I'm never gonna catch. There's like two of them, and I was like, I'm never gonna catch them. Well, they've since quit, and I've gotten a lot stronger, but I never really had to fight my way up. So I do feel like I can learn a lot about PvP still. So that's what I'm doing. So we're trying different things. So we tried Haiteng here, which I actually did get a kill. I actually killed the Roland. Not bad.
Nice.
And because Haiteng does a lot of buffing. We did that, and then I've kind of left this one alone, even though it's not really doing much. I was kind of like going. It's slow because I have to wait for them to attack, right? And then I
Right.
have to go check. So, but yeah, that's the last few things. Let's see. And then there was like one big iteration I tried. When was it? 6 days ago, I want to say. Oops. It's click. Where'd it go? It's two dead. There was a comp I had on the bottom that killed 3 of them, I believe. Or 4, yeah.
4 right here.
So this seemed to go well. I think this was more of an RNG thing because I think the next day this comp I'm kind of curious if they changed something. Oh, whoops, I'm looking at them. Let's see. I just want to see what they lined up as real quick. So, okay, so they've got their Soud on Anna, or I've got my Soud on their Anna, which is nice. I don't know that I would do that if I was them. And then, yeah, their Ron is. I wish you could restart when you're in the replay.
Yeah.
But their Ron was in the middle, I believe, right? Because
Bottom left.
was it? Oh,
You can see at the icons at the bottom.
oh yeah. Thank you. So yeah, so their Ron is jumping in. I think to go for my Yori. Yeah.
Yeah, but we'll straight up miss. That is one thing with Ron in
Mm-hmm.
slot 5. If your slot 5 is a melee, their Ron will just straight up miss you and then walk back. Then the downside though is then Ron will go back and hit both who's ever in slot
Yeah.
2 and who's ever in slot
Mm-hmm.
5.
And you know, this actually isn't a bad setup for me. The only issue is that even though I'm doing well, sorry about countering, like kind of what their Ron is doing. And they actually did they take out Skogul for it? They did. Yeah, so they straight up removed their Skogul or no, they didn't ever have their Skogul, did they?
They didn't. Not in
Oh, yeah, that's right.
this
They had Anna.
setup.
That's right. So yeah, this is actually worse for me though because now both my characters are in Anna's increased damage field when Ron comes to hit them.
Hmm.
So this is very smart by Esper because they're adjusting to what I'm doing and setting it up so that their Ron is getting free bonus damage when they're hitting more than one character. So good job on
To
them.
be fair, damage against Yori at this stage in the fight basically doesn't matter at all. I don't think Ron
Uh,
has the type of burst to like completely delete him, but
so I will actually say that in my opinion it actually does because what's going to happen, yeah,
oh, because
is
he's gonna. Oh no,
it's
he did.
because
He just straight up died.
yeah, it's because Ingrid went
Oh
off.
shoot! Yikes!
Because
Yeah,
the
I mean
timing
then
is
that does
that
really.
normally it wouldn't be bad, but when you have Ingrid's ult going off about the same time that he's about to go down to go into his Naruto, whatever his name is for him.
Yeah,
Naruto, no,
yeah,
but
Naruto.
uh, yeah, getting hit by a magic attack will kill him because when his proc does not make him invincible, it just gives him a bunch of extra dodge and regen, and he regens a bunch of his HP. But if he can't dodge the hits like magic, then he just dies, as you can see.
Yeah. Well.
So this was actually insanely close. That came down to if I had been able to trigger their Anna's invincibility earlier, maybe I would have won that fight.
Yeah.
Maybe it was very close, but
Yeah.
I
It
think
was very close.
let's see, because that was 9 days, and then I think 2 days later, it's the same setup
The
basically. I don't
same
think I
comp, and
changed
now
it.
you
Yeah,
get
and this
killed
time it
too.
did not go nearly as well for me. Well, let's see. Actually, this time my Yorimasa did not
Yeah,
die.
Yori did get to transform at least, but their Kaguya is still alive.
Yep.
Yeah, P40 Ron is scary.
Yeah, and like I said, I think Esper is very good at PvP. Like they definitely understand what they're doing, and I feel like they really designed this team well. It's a very scary team. Like the different moving pieces in it are make obviously like if I could do them when I do the matchups, I can pick, and like I say, a Colo against this team is very very good
Yeah.
because you are gonna kill the two that are like really supporting their damage dealers with their, you're gonna kill the piece of it that's keeping the other two damage dealers alive, and then you just pretty much win.
Mhm.
But anyways, that's where we are. And like I said, like right now, I can just go challenge Esper, and like by default, I'm matched up like this against this team on their defense, and this is their second team. And I usually honestly just skip. I don't know if they change anything, so. But yeah, as you can see, like in this one, we've got Colo on T bullets. I think. Or no, my Colo's on G
G
actually.
bullets.
Yeah,
Yeah.
doesn't. I don't think it matters much here because already triggered their Anna's immort.
Yeah, but Kaguya still has a
Yeah.
second stack. So yeah, you're just plowing through all their invincibilities.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Now it should be
Like
easy cleanup.
P40 run is scary. P40 Colo is scarier.
100%. Although that was unlucky. You just had your alt skipped, but it doesn't matter at this
Yeah,
point. It's over.
like between Corellia and Ingrid, like it's very much. I don't even know what just killed Nancy. What? Oh,
I think
it
it was
was a
Oliver.
combination of Oliver and Roland's ult.
Yeah, that's wild.
But yeah, that's one thing that
I'm
I've
surprised
seen
how little.
people say in the discords is that you should put Oliver in front of Roland, and I could not agree less. Like in my opinion, the ideal thing is to set it up so that when Roland ults, somebody else is hitting the same targets and you get a kill.
Yeah,
And you want Roland to ult early. I don't know. There's probably situations where one is better than the other, but like I do see people saying like I've seen more than one person say like, yeah, just put Oliver in front of Roland so that Oliver ults into the back line. And yes, that does work, but then you're missing out on that really early burst from Roland, which in my opinion is what makes the duo really good. Is Roland's huge true damage strike that just puts people critical, and they just suddenly the fight's in your favor and it's already over.
yeah.
So now we've kind of gone over what I've tried, and now it's now I'm bringing in the expert. Because one thing that I've been hesitant to try is to break this team up, but that, in my opinion, that's probably the answer. Is
I
to
mean,
totally redo my defenses to get rid of like the things like the alliance, the advantages against different teams. But I'll let you take it from here, Joe. Kind of direct me and tell me what you think. If you
so I
want to.
mean, you're exactly right. Your impulse is exactly going to be my first suggestion. It's going to be that your first team is too good.
Mm-hmm.
So your first team is like half, or it, yeah, it's like half a million stronger than your other two teams, and it's more than that. It's not only that the stats are a lot bigger, it's also that all of your scary units are on this team. So for my defenses,
Mm-hmm.
I always split up uh, Corellia and Colo because Colo does good work on their own
Mm-hmm.
and Corellia doesn't. Obviously, my numbers are a lot lower than yours, but the
Right, but
the
the theory is the
theory is
same.
the
Yeah,
same.
like.
So honestly, and this is kind of my thought process, is I usually want Colo on my weakest team
Mm,
because Colo is a character who kind of does the most on their own.
okay.
Um, so that's my current setup doesn't perfectly do that because my middle team is slightly weaker, but Anna is just so scary on their own. Like this is a very scary composition.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's kind of worth it. We're like, this is an extremely clumsy composition. Like this is not what anyone is thinking is some like top tier team.
Right.
But so that my first suggestion is to pair Cola with I or pair Corellia with Delilah is what I do because I assume you are on
Yeah.
the same potential I am, so you do want a second ranger
Okay.
on that team. Um, Unfortunately, Delilah is only okay in PvP. I think the only way to make Delilah work is for her to be giving more lifesteal to Skogul.
True.
Um,
I do
so
agree. I
that's
do understand and agree with that.
like that is 100% how this team got built. It was all right. So I want to split up uh Colo and Corellia,
Hmm.
but I want another ranger with Corellia. Yugao sucks, so I don't really want her.
Yeah.
So I guess Delilah. Well, if I'm gonna use Delilah, then I need some reason to have Delilah on my team. So that's Gogol, and
Hmm.
then might as well get two Abyss for the attack speed buff.
Yeah.
And then if I have Hygomi on the team, then I need Haitang to keep Hygomi alive. And that is just straight up how this team got built. It's honestly too strong. Like this team is too stacked. But because Anna is on team 2 and Colo is on team 1, and like in a vacuum, those are the two units that someone just scanning my teams is going to be most afraid of.
Hmm.
Um, so I do so like so that's kind of how this ended up this way. But ideally, what you want is 3 teams all with the same power level. Um,
Hmm.
so, and then the second thing, which is again something that I think you imagined that I would say, is that real you have 2 very strong elemental teams,
Yep.
and that leads you up to just being countered. Like a Colo just eats your team too.
And
Like
that's what
it
they've been
doesn't matter
doing. Yeah.
what fancy stuff you do
Yeah.
here,
Because they've got a
Colo is gonna
Colo. Yeah.
nuke. There is one thing you could do here,
Hmm.
and that's, as far as I've seen, Esper's Colo has always been on G bullets. So put a Anna in front, and then and then put Roland behind the Anna, and then Roland will ult stunning the Colo, hopefully hopefully clearing the clones, and then Oliver's ult will hit real Colo and not one of the clones.
Yeah.
But
And
you need
possibly Anna
someone
as well.
to cheat death in order to get that set up to work. Because otherwise the G bullets is just gonna melt your
Right.
front line. But in general, I would say split up your elements more. Like I would probably take Molly off that team and put it on a different team,
Hmm.
and
And
then
I do have like, and that's the other thing is one thing too is like I'm also kind of in a spot where I'm a little bit spoiled for choice. Like I've got a lot of strong units. But I'm not like I've got Hagomi, I've got Giranol who's potential 30 and geared. Like like I
yeah,
mean not fully
she
geared,
is.
but she's
But
pretty
I mean, but
for
she's really good, honestly, for
yeah.
that, for those stats. I think she. What's nice about a unit like Giranol is it poses a problem to the attacker.
Hmm.
Um,
That they have to solve basically.
they have to solve, so they don't get to do whatever they want. Um,
Hmm.
so like you talked about how for your team 3 you're struggling because they're jumping in on you, but also you want to jump in on them.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if Giranol would be good on team 3 to jump onto their
Hmm.
Kaguya.
And I mean, well, to jump basically try and jump onto their back line because like obviously I can't control where they put their Kaguya.
True,
Like
but yeah, and that's
she's
kind of.
also like she'll I mean if they use the same team against it then theoretically Girano will be either on Kaguya or Ingrid, which either of which is good for me.
Yeah, and if they put wrong in that position, then your Giranol clone will just go attack the front line, and
Hmm.
I think that's in general a win for you
Yeah.
as well. Um, so yeah, so let's so those are the key comp, like the key takeaways I have from your current comps is
Hmm.
to try to spread out your power more, split up your elements more, and maybe try to make sure every team you have doesn't just get wiped by Colo.
True.
Um, so I guess we'll try to get into the specifics. So team 1, because my first what do you need to have for council to have Ingrid? Is that the potential you're going on her? I forget what they're called.
I don't remember. She is on
Okay,
no, she's on the
Crimson
other one
Wave is
because
fine.
the reason she's on this is because she's on the team with Colo. So her job is not necessarily to do lots of damage. Her job is to keep Meph alive as the other frontliner. In
Fair.
case because one thing too is I don't always pay attention to where I leave my Colo, and when Colo's on G bullets with a Meph in front of her, it's really good, obviously,
Yeah.
because
So,
Meph increases damage.
are you gonna lose too much damage dropping Colo from this team and putting in Delilah?
Uh, well, I mean, I think I mean, I don't think so. Like, my Corellia is pretty good. They're
Your
1449.
Corellia is extremely good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I do think that that is an okay change to make. Um,
You are a little exposed to an enemy Aurora or someone jumping on your Corellia, because they would definitely be your main
mhm.
carry. But honestly, like, I mean, even if someone gets in Corellia's face, if you don't kill her, she's gonna eventually ult, and
Yeah.
she is gonna sit back down. Like, it's
Yeah.
not the end like it is for like Pawn, who you get in Pawn's face and she's just deleted.
Yeah. And I mean, I do have other options. I mean, I do have Teresa, who, although she is not, whoops, let me in there. She's
Yeah.
not
So
built
I
up
mean,
yet, but she is
yeah,
still like, I could potential her to 20 probably if I want to.
it's true. I think because Teresa's just damage and you don't have her built, I don't think she's worth putting on in your top 15. The other option, well, so I like my default is Rangers because that helps your Corellia.
Right.
So that's why. Also, I would put Corellia in slot 3 or 5 just because the angle on
Oh
the
yeah, true.
laser
Yeah,
is better.
very true.
Um, so like that's why my default here is Delilah, so that you're still procking your laser twice as fast.
Hmm.
Um, and you're getting the Ranger synergy, which is nice.
Yeah.
Who I think she's on Team 5, so
Yeah,
that's why
she
you can't,
is.
or Team 3, so that's why you can't find her.
Oh, I'm not looking for her. I'm
Oh,
thinking.
you weren't looking
Sorry.
for her.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
So well, and I guess and Ingrid does do a lot of damage.
yeah.
Your
Hmm.
Ingrid's pretty good. So I think that's
Yeah, my Ingrid's
um
very good. I think.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking for this team. The other thing you could do just to annoy people is just swap around your teams, and if they're not paying attention, then you can get free
Yeah,
wins.
I mean, yeah, but yeah, right.
But
For like the video.
ignoring that. Yeah. Yeah,
um,
we're not just trying to grind people's sanity. We're trying to actually play the game as intended, not play the opponent. Um
right. Yeah, like you know, eh, but so yeah, so I could put Delilah. I mean, and I could, because I really don't use Delilah anywhere. I could change her potential to be the damage one because I don't need Leech on this team.
you don't need Leech on this team.
So
Um
I think that's actually a smart change then because I don't need that.
it is, and the damage potential on Delilah is really good. I
Yeah,
think that
Delilah does
it's
damage if she's on that potential. So
yeah, the
because right now
like
she's
the
on.
I think one of the reasons people are low on Delilah is because her big damage is in her glaive bounces.
Oh, can you
It's
not?
AoE damage.
Oh,
So
it's annoying
if
you
you
can't
don't
swap
have,
from that screen.
but like it's nice to have like you have two AoE DPS and
Mm-hmm.
then uh Corellia to just like blast through the single target. Um, so I think that's a really good setup um,
Mm-hmm.
for that team. Um, and if I remember correctly, they were trying to take you out with draconic units, which makes sense given given the 4 council. But now you have 3 council, and you have uh, a tribes to beat the draconic team. So
Yep.
there's some defense there. That's the other thing when I pair factions, I like to pair opposite factions. So
Mm-hmm.
um, blue and purple, and then red and green. Um, with Mortimer as an honorary purple. Like if I had the time to build Mortimer, he would be on every alliance defense team I make. Just because, like,
Yeah.
someone's gonna get lazy and think green counters blue, and then they're just gonna get blasted by Mortimer.
um. Yeah. I think orange probably best for Delilah.
Yeah, I think attack speed is probably too important to pass up.
Yeah.
So this is what I would maybe change yellow to purple
You think so?
and put yellow. So I often put yellow on Mephisto because I think getting the tree up as fast as possible is really important,
Yep.
and extra
Yeah.
damage on Ingrid is always good.
Hmm.
I don't know. That's my thought.
Yep. Makes sense.
Um, Katarina, green or blue are both good. I, I feel like at that point you're just like kind of nitpicking and you're not
Hmm.
making real adjustments. So here, what I want to do is remove um, uh, Molly
Remove
as
Molly.
well. And so
Hmm.
I'm thinking about what I want to do next. And maybe.
So
So, do you think you win the Colo duel?
yeah.
Because Colo is gonna fight. Is gonna want to fight against the Alliance team.
Right.
So then,
And that's
like,
what they've been using, and that's why I was gonna
yeah,
put Colo in. Like it makes sense.
and then like Higomi or something.
Hmm.
Um, the other idea, well, so Aurora's not good against Colo or
Right.
Kaguya,
Hmm.
and then, but I mean, then you're putting Oliver in the front, but you're putting Oliver in the front with a Kaguya behind, so like that's not devastating. Um,
Hmm. So you're saying do like this?
this and then like Kaguya. That is exactly what I'm saying. I'm not. I'm so Oliver in the front will alt faster,
Yeah.
which can be good, but it also leaves you more exposed.
Yeah.
And then and now the two of them aren't attacking the same target until Oliver alts.
Yep.
And even then, it's based on your opponent's positioning.
And they're gonna be able to move it. And so like to
Yeah,
me, like this is okay. Um, it does feel odd. Like I almost want to mirror it
sure.
because
Yeah, that
this way
protects
there's
Kaguya better.
it protects Kaguya, and this way there's a chance that Magi is hitting the person rolling ults early. Because it seems like
Fair.
random sometimes who this middle person attacks. I can never tell for sure. Like
It's
sometimes it's
usually
like this one,
slot one.
but I've also seen them attack slot two. So I'm like, I don't know if
Yeah,
it's the
I
character's range or whatever is changing it, but yeah, this to me like one thing that I think about is like because I just switch my colo constantly, and I don't really this way on G bullets or on T bullets like I feel okay.
yeah, I think that's fair because
Yeah,
yeah, because your Roland will alt 3 and 4 as well as one, and so if you're on T bullets, you'll be clearing better anyway.
I'm gonna change this back to Horn because I had it on the bow because they were just using their straight alliance team, but it wasn't helping, so there's no reason to use it on
Agreed.
defense. I don't think.
Okay,
And
so this is
then
kind of
the
what I'm
last
thinking for
team.
this. So then for your last team, so I like all three of these units because they're all just so annoying.
Yep.
Um, your Molly's really strong. I think your Molly is going to be better than Soud on this team.
Hmm.
Um, and then you already have good damage. Is this too defensive? Is this
I don't know.
I mean, so there is a strat that like I don't see leveraged very often because it's pretty risky. Ties are go to the defender.
Hmm.
So if this team just lasts the full time, you
Yeah.
win. Um I like triple melee to I mean, you are 5 melee. I mean, you need to have Molly in the front for her potential.
True.
So probably Molly and Anna in the front would be my feeling, and then line up.
Mm,
Skogul, Yori, and so yeah, I would.
I actually like this bet. Well,
What I was thinking is Anna in 1, Yori in 3, Skogul in 4. So now all 3 of your DPS are all standing in
yeah.
Anna's debuff,
Hmm.
attacking who's ever in 1.
Yep.
Uh, it does mean Higomi is not doing much of value,
I mean, Hagomi's
except
there for 25% attack speed and to make it so that they have to have Ron jump here.
yeah, 100%.
Like,
Honestly, Higomi does a lot just existing on the map
yeah.
because it slows down their energy regen, and
Hmm.
that first ult is huge, and then their potential is going to
Yeah.
make your other people way tankier, especially if that goes to Yori. Yori with 40% more damage reduction when they um,
Hmm.
transform is terrifying with all the built-in lifesteal. So yeah,
Yeah.
so let's see, how well did I practice what I preached? How are your damage spreads now? You have 6-3, 6-2, and then I think 6-6. Okay,
Yeah.
so
And
it's
that's a
better.
function of these two being on the same team.
Yeah,
Because
it
my top
is.
five are a decent chunk stronger.
Yeah. Um, so this is kind of the setup that am I'm talking about, and what I think you do. And it is risky because as you lower your highest power team, that does, like, it's possible that now Esper
Yeah.
can beat your Colo, and that's going to be a problem um for you.
I honestly, I think it's, I actually think it's, I think they're gonna try and fail. I think that they know that they cannot fight my Colo. Um, I think they've been building anti-Colo. I think that's why they have a potential 40 Skogul and a potential 40 Ron.
Smart.
Like, I think that they've been like wanting to go anti-Colo meta for a while, is what it feels like. And probably because I've been in the front of their server for a while, and so they saw that I was dumping everything into Colo and Corellia. And so they said, hey, well, I'll just build something to beat them. Like, pretty smart. Like,
Yeah, honestly.
I appreciate Hesper being very, like, making me work because it's like, I feel
Hmm.
like I'm getting better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. I'm glad that I have someone challenging me, honestly. Because I remember at first I was kind of like annoyed because they just kept attacking me, and I was like, well, I attack back and win. But then I was like, well, why don't I actually try and change my defense? And then once I started doing that, I got into it, and I was like, oh man, I wonder if I did better this time. I wonder if I did better this time. So yeah, the other options that I have is I could, we'll see. We can check replays like tomorrow or the day after, and we'll see how this team did and see what happened.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, I didn't check runes,
Oh yeah. Oh,
so these need
yeah.
to be changed.
Those do need to be changed.
I kind of want to leave this, but
I I put blue on my Roland, but like my alliance team is pretty far behind,
yeah,
so I don't like that is. Or actually, do I? Yes, I do. I was like, am I lying to you right now? No, I do put blue on my Roland just because
hmm,
he ults so quickly,
yeah,
getting that extra shield in the front. Um,
hmm.
Magi, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, I could try and get really creative.
Oh no. I mean, unless your weapon on Kaguya is like extremely buffed where you actually have crit chance on her, like you basically never get that attack speed. I think yellow on Kaguya is like
Oops, wrong button.
maybe not forced, but if yellow goes on anyone, I think Kaguya is like
Yeah, it's
always
not that
top
buff.
one, top two. Oh yeah, yeah, it's not. I don't think it's
I mean,
not.
her crit is 38%. It's not
Okay,
bad.
that's not terrible. Um,
Considering you wouldn't expect a lot of crit on Kaguya.
Yeah, I mean it's all from her weapon. You get like
Yeah,
that's the only crit for light unit or not light cloth
cloth.
units. I always say light for cloth.
Okay, and then obviously this needs to change. Uh,
I don't like yellow on Molly because she auto attacks so infrequently.
true.
So I would put blue on Molly and yellow on
Oh yeah, that makes
Igomi.
sense. Hmm.
I think this is fine. I could see an argument for swapping orange and purple because purple. Am I hallucinating? Purple does give dodge. It's one of the two that give dodge.
Check it for me.
Yeah, purple gives dodge.
Mm-hmm.
And Anna actually can use the attack speed and the extra crit.
Good.
Eh, I don't I like that's a kind of a min max thing. It's not
Yeah. No, it makes
a
sense.
big deal. Um, yeah, yeah, I definitely like red
Yeah,
on
red goes on
Yori.
Yuri out of any of these people. He's
Yeah,
he's the most likely to survive the longest, and he's the most likely to just take over the fight if he survives.
totally. Yeah,
He
like
just
there's
gets going and he gets insane.
100%. I think like you could make an argument for Anna, but I think Yori's the play.
Cool.
Yeah. So that's what I got for you.
Yeah. So we'll see. What we'll probably do is we'll check back in a few days when we record again, and we'll probably add on a little more to this video. Um, and I might cut this part. We'll see. But for now, we're gonna sign off, and we will see you next time. Thanks everyone for checking in. Hope you learned a little bit about defense and Commander Wars. We will see you later.